You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, team. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Revenge After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Revenge After Show.
Welcome, everybody. We are here, just like Bing, and we are doing it. We're doing another Revenge Season 1, Episode 19 episode called Absolution.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And welcome. Oh my God, what a great episode. We had so much fun in the screening room, and you know, one of the things that does make it fun is you guys have been giving us great comments on iTunes, and we really do appreciate it. And before we fully dive into this episode, and before I introduce you guys, which I will, I want to say this, because I feel it's the most important, so I want to get it out quick. You guys as fans, you guys have been commenting, doing your part, but you've also been telling a friend. And guess what? Every time you tell a friend, that spreads the word.
It does. It's like telephone.
Exactly.
It's the same idea.
And literally, it's the most direct way to really spread AfterBuzz. Without formal PR, you guys are nuts. Without
like the telephone.
Yes,
that's
like
what happens.
I was thinking
story
like
hasn't changed.
I was thinking like Jesus and the followers.
Well,
tell
like
a friend,
Jesus,
they tell a friend.
That's pretty serious, Kim. That's heavy stuff right there. Damn.
Oh. Do we
You know
believe
me.
in Jesus?
Who? No, I'm kidding. Oh my lord! Did I just say that?
You did.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV.
There
or
we
its owners or
go.
We're
principals.
kidding.
But the-
Feeling that
but
would
the
be
point is
said more
this.
than once tonight.
The point is this. Because you guys have been telling a friend, we now get about upwards of 100 to 120,000 listens per week, thanks to you guys. And that's directly because you guys tell a friend. So continue to tell a
Yes,
friend.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
it's pretty
Maybe
awesome.
tell 2 friends next week, and
And
we
then
might
we'll-
hit 200,000. You never know.
Exactly. Let's double that number. So
Let's double it.
we definitely appreciate that. And I am, of course, Phil Svitek, your host tonight, alongside,
Gabrielle Loren.
joined by,
Kim Lai Yingling.
and as well.
Dorinda Barker.
Thank you. And we have another AfterBuzz host from ABC's Scandal After Show.
Hi, I'm Sophia Stanley.
There you go. And the reason why Sophia's joining us is because she's actually a lawyer in real life, as opposed to just a host here at AfterBuzz. And so she's going to bring in great perspective. One of the things that I really love about this show, and why I can tell it is great storytelling, is because at first we were introduced to these characters, right? And we were kept into the small world, and now we've expanded out into society, and we're dealing with everything that society has to offer. And in this case, it's all the legal ramifications. So to help clear out our minds, Sophia's going to be there to guide us for that.
Yes.
Where were you last week? My lord.
Or the week before that.
I might touch back to previous episodes because there's just so much juicy stuff to talk about, and the difference between fiction and real life. But they're pretty true to form.
There's a difference.
It
Don't ruin my parade going on in my head
No,
right now.
actually, yeah, I would love to hear that perspective
Jeez.
because we always bring things up like, does that actually happen? That's a common question.
The funny thing is, and it's ironic, even though I'm not a criminal attorney, I'm actually an entertainment attorney, so it's actually right up my alley. And the funny thing is, ironically, with the Graysons, the fact that they're rich, when you're rich, it actually becomes more like fictional life because you have the access to do things that other people can't do. So because of their stature, this is a pretty much of a real trial. However, if it had been a different situation and it had been Jack Porter on trial and the same things occurred, then it would not, in fact, be realistic because we know that, you know, all he has is a bar.
Right.
Yeah.
Just a bar.
I know, right? I would love to just have a
It
bar
is
in
the
the Hamptons.
stowaway, girl.
Yeah.
The stowaway.
Well,
He's still a hottie, though.
let's take a step back real quick. And one of the biggest surprises in this episode for me was Nolan's storyline. And you guys hit it. You guys kind of knew what was going on. I will admit I didn't. When Emily confronted Nolan and we had that whole scene where she basically choked him out, I was like, whoa, this happened so soon. And then you guys kind of knew and ran with it. So I'll let you guys speak to that, of where your guys' minds were at.
Well, yeah. Well, Dorinda called. We were sitting there trying to figure out who CM was in the book that she wasn't supposed to see. And then you called it out. Like, I think that's Nolan's mom. And from last week's episode, I thought that it was Emily's mother, because I still think that Emily and Nolan are somehow related. But you called it out. You know, I don't.
Yeah.
The aunt. Geez. And the fact that she used to be Grayson's executive secretary. Mm-hmm. And she was getting ready to help David Clark the day he died.
Yeah, she was going to come and bring him information
It looks so
so it would
serious.
blow it wide open almost, basically. So it would prove that he wasn't a terrorist. And unfortunately, that did not happen.
And so they were clearly onto what was going on, the Graysons. So that's why they had hired somebody to stab David Clark.
Well, they knew something was going on. And I find it very interesting is when Emily did go to choke out Nolan. He said the reason I kept the book is because I didn't want you to remember your dad this way. And he was trying to make it seem like it was just ramblings of a madman. But what he was really doing was, he even said it, I was protecting my family.
Yes.
And I had to do that. And I thought it was interesting because I didn't know how she was going to take that. And then when she turned and she looked at him, she goes, I would have done the same thing.
Right, but I have to say, the two journals now, it's making me think there's other things in the original journal that are not in the journal she was given. And that's going to be developing storylines too, where things she didn't know about. And it's kind of funny because I don't know if the audience felt this way or you guys felt this way, but when we were watching that whole scene go down where Nolan took the journal out of the safe and she caught him, for a second in my mind I was thinking, oh my God, maybe David Clark is guilty, or he's not as pure as we thought he was. That was my original initial thought when I saw him hiding
I don't
something.
think that. I think that journal is his journal. The journal she has, I do think it's
Yes.
his journal, and this is just a second journal. I don't think that other journal,
like an additional journal.
Yeah,
like
it's an
the second
additional
part?
journal. Yeah,
One where
of
he
his
had while
writings.
he was
I don't
in
think
prison.
I don't think the first journal. I definitely think that first journal that she has is his too. I just think this is an additional one that has his family in it.
But
But-
don't you think it'd be weird if he just stopped writing at a certain date, but he lived until April, whatever, 2002, but stopped writing 5 months before that? That's very weird to me. If I was her, I would question it.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like when we've seen the journal before, I don't think there's ever been any dates
Yeah.
in it. I don't
think
think
so
never
either.
were.
no, I don't
You
think
know-
there's ever been any dates.
I
Here's,
think-
to speak to Gabby's point, and I'll let you guys table this. You know what you asked the question: is he kind of like a shady guy? And I think the only shadiness to David Clark, I think in essence, he is a very pure being. The only thing that Emily's now an extension of whatever evil there was, because he put in her mind the idea of revenge, and now Emily's wrapped up in this. Emily, at the end of the day, she's not a good soul.
No, I mean, but
You know,
she is-
David. I think David
she's
Clark
not?
was, and the
Yeah.
whatever evil there was, he's passed that on to her, and she's let it flourish.
You know what, though? I think, though, didn't he specifically, when he gave her the box, there was a note that specifically said that he was giving her the box so that she would know who her father really was, but he didn't want her to seek revenge.
Yeah, I think
He
that
wanted
he's
it
right.
to
You're
end
right.
there, and I think that's why he was so forthright, and I think that's specifically why he told Nolan to not give that last journal.
Well,
because
but
that last
that
journal
last
is
journal-
what gives the credence that he was actually potentially murdered.
And it also has people's names like CM.
Exactly.
And so I think Nolan, he knows what was,
protect
he knew what was in that
identities.
journal.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that she doesn't already know that's going on with her father. And his family is now mentioned in that. So I would hide it too, because
Exactly.
I mean, she is crazy. She's going out for revenge, and she
And-
she
and
figured
that-
out who CM was, for God's sake.
And I think we've all kind of learned this in Emily too, of the fact that the more this continues, you know, she never wanted to hurt Jack. She never really wanted to get Amanda involved, but they are, and just by default, and they will continue to be more involved. And again, as I said, things are now spreading. You know, it's spreading
Tonight
into
was
society.
good, though. I'm glad for the new character.
Yeah,
there were a few.
Yeah, there's a couple, but I just want to bring it back real quick to something that you said, Phil, about her evilness and her darkness, or what you were speaking of. That all stems, though, I feel, from the Graysons. I don't think she was like that until everything happened in her life, and where she wound up, and she was left alone, and she was by herself, had to fend for herself, and the reason she turned out the way she did is because of the ramifications of what happened with her father.
Let me just say this, though, guys.
I agree.
From a human standpoint, when bad things happen in your lives, because bad things happen to everybody, you experience things. It's part of life. You either choose the high route or you choose to go the wrong route, okay? You choose, the path you're going to take and what you're going to do with it. I mean, look at Oprah. She was abused, and now she's a motivational speaker.
But
you know
Oprah
what I mean?
also wasn't in a juvenile detention hall and in
there's people she
orphanages since the
speaks to.
age of like 10 until she was like 18.
But there's people she speaks to that have
she
been.
has, and on top of it, she had no one. She had no one. This girl, I understand where you're coming from, but she had no one. She had no one to protect her. No one for any,
Never makes revenge okay.
I'm not saying
but you've never been in a situation though either where you're in a place like that. I mean, you have no idea the kind of crazy shit that's going to go through her mind. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, but that's what therapy and good friends and
once again, what I'm trying to say is she had no one.
No,
she had no one.
Let's not defend her actions. She's so twisted, guys.
No,
Come on.
But you know what, you guys? If I found out, if my father, if something happened like that to one of my family members, you know what? I'm sure in a happy world, I would.
It was unjust.
And being such a healthy human, that I would probably just go, wow, they just killed my father, and I'm going to adjust. I'm going to go to therapy next week and make myself a better person. I would be really, really angry.
It's gonna bother you, but you don't. Jennifer Hudson, her whole family, bad things happen.
No, I mean, listen. At the end of the day, we could debate this.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a very philosophical question. At the end of the day,
but either people are going to do what she's doing, or they're going to.
You're right. You're going to take one road or the other.
Exactly.
And she decided to take the latter.
And if she would have taken the high road, we wouldn't have a great show like The Revenge.
And we wouldn't be sitting here today, the four of us, five of us bonding, doing this after show.
That's for sure.
So thank God for Emily's Revenge.
Exactly. Because if not, we would have never even done this show.
And so, I mean, I know.
Okay, back onto the.
This is more of a prediction, but what do you guys think of where Carol is going to go, and was she just kind of more this episode and setting up
No, I think just only knowing kind of TV the way I know TV, and knowing that that's Tess Harper, and she's been around for a long time. She's been in a lot of movies. She's been on TV shows. They wouldn't just bring her in just for 20 minutes of a TV show. Her character is going to play more into it. Just like Brooks's character, because
God, I like him.
He is, because of he's been around for a while. People know who he is. He's not going to be there for 3 or 4 episodes and just walk into the sunset. I'm sure he's going to be back for more.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think that her and Nolan, because still Emily, even though she's getting ready to get married to Daniel. Oh my gosh, I can never get their names straight. I think Nolan and Aunt Carol, I think that this is going to create like a family for her now. I really do. That unity, that bond, that closeness is going to be there, and she's going to have the strength that comes from when you have a family that protects and so much that she is now going to have that extra strength, and Aunt Carol is going to start helping her seek her revenge.
I completely agree with Kim Lai, because I think that because she's been around the Graysons, just like we said, she's been around evil, so it's easy for her to be really cold. But I actually think that Aunt Carol has to stay around, because there's something with Nolan that we don't know. Because Nolan alluded to the fact that David Clark and him, they got really close while David Clark was in jail,
and we don't know how still.
Yeah, exactly. And
I thought, was he in jail?
It's unclear. And technically, Aunt Carol is in essence his surrogate mom.
I think David Clark's his dad.
So there's something there, because he almost was going to cry when he was saying, like, I got really close, and the way that Aunt Carol looked at him, there's something there. So she's definitely there to stay.
Sure.
It's something to do with the relationship, and that either David Clark got him through a tough situation, and or there's a familial relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. Aunt Carol that's only one piece of the puzzle. I really think because I think she's.
Yeah, I agree with
Yes.
you guys. I think.
What? Can I say something real fast?
Go ahead.
What if Nolan knows who the real terrorist is? Or what if he had some involvement? Being that Nolan has all this money, I'm sure he was he's invested probably with the Graysons, yeah?
I don't.
No, remember he never had. That was the whole issue. He never had.
Okay.
It had always been
Good.
stalking
I
him.
just hope nothing bad comes out because I know when I did my interview with him, he said that he questioned his character being killed off the show. So, meaning the way they wrote the storyline, something bad could be going on with his story. Is all.
Okay,
I'm saying.
that would be horrible if they wrote him off.
That would be
no. Him and
Well,
Emily
I know.
make
I said the same thing.
They better not do it.
For ratings purposes. I think that's just dumb.
Yeah, but you never know. He thinks it would.
I would
make
save it
viewers
for
wanna come
season
back.
2.
Yeah.
If he's gonna get killed off, save it for season 2.
Yes. Okay.
But one last quick thing that I just want to end on.
This fan club would be pissed.
They would be.
Seriously.
We still haven't even got him on the
This
dang
is-
show.
Well, we will. But I do want to say this. I thought it was interesting how they murdered David Clark because we saw that flashback, and he was expecting the thug to do it, and in typical Grayson fashion, they had set up the whole scheme, and who you expected to do it didn't do it, and it was the U.S. Marshal, which isn't a U.S. Marshal at all at the end of the day.
No.
So I thought that was quite interesting, that whole setup.
And that guy is definitely coming into play too.
Oh, well, we got the big
Well,
reveal
yeah,
at the
Aunt
end.
Carol said that there was this guy with white hair and blue eyes came into the office for all of these meetings that were never recorded, put on paper. And then we see in the last scene, Emily sees the video before it cuts.
Yes.
This guy walks into
Now,
David's
I
office.
have a question for Sophia. So tell me this, right? We were joking about how there's all these collages and audio recorders and all that. So what are all the things that we need to buy from Amazon to make our amazing office setup so that we can go to work at law? Basically, it's a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. I mean you can do everything. I mean I think that the whale camera
that's awesome.
Is amazing. And I think that there's just everything you can buy. You can buy whale cameras, phone bugs, microphones. You can even have mirrors to literally make sure that you're seeing behind you in various ways, even as you walk into a room, so that the camera gets multiple angles off of simply one camera.
We got to build our own kit. But the reason I bring it up, I bring this up because you can get all these things on Amazon. It's our suggestion if you're going to build your own kit, but hey, you can buy anything on Amazon.
As well as a scrambler.
Oh, you could probably buy inner ear headsets on Amazon too.
One day, Kim Lai. One day. But hey, a lot of you guys listening, you guys have been asking, how do I support AfterBuzz TV? Well, most of you already shop on Amazon.com. And so instead of next time you make a purchase, it can be scramblers or in fact, whatever you want it to be. Instead of going to Amazon directly, go through us, meaning go to AfterBuzzTV.com. There's an Amazon banner. Click that banner, then shop away, shopaholics.
Yep.
I know Kim Lai's a huge shopaholic with headsets and whatnot. She's a lawyer, so she buys a lot.
I know.
Gabby's probably jewelry and books.
Accessories for my BlackBerry. Can't leave home without it.
Actually, I'm probably about to buy a book on Amazon in a second.
Yes, and Dorinda is all TV, so she gets a lot of DVDs there.
I do.
So,
And we all go through AfterBuzz TV.
.com. So yes, support us. It costs nothing extra to you guys, and it really does help us out.
My dad does it now, by the way.
That's
just
awesome.
to let you know.
I love hearing that.
My dad called me the other day and he's like, I bought something off Amazon, but I went through
You know what?
AfterBuzz.
You know what? We don't do this enough. So let me take a caller, and maybe they can share an Amazon experience with us. Ronnie, patch them through, baby.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
All right. Hi, this is Kaylina from Ohio.
Hello,
Wow, you're up late.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
But it's all in good
and
for
it's
good
good
reasons.
to finally talk to you, Gabby, because I found out about AfterBuzz TV through you on Gabriel Mann's page.
Oh,
A long
did you?
time ago, though, before the hiatus, I guess.
Oh,
When you
wow.
were recapping Intrigue 6, but I couldn't call in that night.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you so much for letting us know how you found out about us. That's always interesting to hear.
What was your thoughts on tonight's episode?
Okay, I'll get to that, but I wanted to mention one thing that ties in right before that.
Sure.
It was very interesting. But you guys have been asking about the current Emily's mom.
Yes.
And I remember that from a previous episode, but it's just too much info to tweet.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm sure.
I tried to send something quickly, but I remember in one of those episodes, I think 7, 8, or 9, the ones that I called in, before the current Amanda told Jack that she was Amanda, Emily had given her a passport saying that the name was Kara Wilkins. The name, Jack had even called her Kara at one point. And Emily, as she had given the passport to Amanda, had said, "This is my mother's name." That leads me to believe that Kara Wilkins probably isn't alive, because I don't think she could give Amanda a passport with her mom's name on it if her mom were alive.
Wow.
But that's what Emily said at the time, and it was like 7, 8, or 9 when I was reviewing those episodes before I called in.
That's a very good point.
That is so interesting. I'm so glad you called in right now. Cleared up a lot of questions, but not all of them, obviously.
Wow.
Wow, I'm sure they're going to develop on that one. But I honestly have a feeling she is alive. That's just my gut telling me that she's somewhere.
Under
You could be right about that, too. Again, one of the things about this show is that they never, well, almost never anyway, tell you everything. They definitely don't tell you everything right away, but I got a feeling before the big break that they still had things that they were hiding from us. They tell the audience more maybe than the characters know. Like those times when we see something and the dots don't connect, and towards the end, like we found that Emily met with a lawyer and switched the blood samples, remember? Or even early in the episode, Conrad goes to the hospital from the South Fork Inn spicy bisque or whatever, and we see at the end that she posed as a server and went in.
Yeah.
They tell us some of this stuff at the end of episodes, but then I still think they are holding back info, and that kind of comes from, I don't know if I should mention it on here, but something I found in one of the interviews of one of the actors, something that they said. That's where I'm kind of drawing that conclusion.
Why?
But I don't know if I should mention that on here.
Just say, what did they say?
Well, I hope I can remember it accurately.
Is it a spoiler?
As I remember it, I thought that Gabriel Mann had said that there had been some flashbacks shot of Nolan and David Clark.
Nice.
Nolan Ross and David
That's
Clark,
good.
but that the writers have not put them in, have not used them yet in Revenge.
Well, we've got
okay.
two more
Today,
after
I
this.
thought
so.
they were coming close because there was that flashback of Nolan telling his aunt to get out of there. And I thought that maybe David Clark would come up in there. I've been watching for it, but it still hasn't happened yet.
Right. I think most of the times when they give us those little details, like the one you mentioned with the whole passport and the mother idea, it's because the writers are going to develop those stories. Because they're not just going to have that small detail and just put it to the side and never touch on it again.
Yeah.
That's why
I
I truly
hope not.
believe, and that's why I truly believe that she is alive and out there. So.
Okay. Yeah. There was also something from the last episode before the hiatus that I was really hoping that they would expand on now that they haven't yet. But I don't know if we should get into that because you were asking me what I thought of tonight's episode, so I wanted to tie in this stuff back to current tonight.
Yes.
Maybe I'll have to mention that other thing another time or wait and see if it comes up. But as far as his aunt, Carol, was that her name?
Yes. Well, I mean, unfortunately, I think we do have to move on. I'm sorry to have to cut you off.
Okay.
Because these guys also got to get up early, and Ronnie's gonna kill me from in the booth for
It's
running
Phil's
so
fault.
late.
He messed up the show in the beginning. No, I'm just kidding. It wasn't you. You saved us.
But
okay.
No, but why don't you?
But I would love for you to actually come back and call in for the next show and tell us the detail you're talking about, because we would all like to hear it. And we see these shows and we miss those details, or we see them and we forget about them.
No,
so
I wouldn't say we miss them. We just I think it's one of those shows. I think it's one of those shows we can only talk about so much, and we come at it from our own kind of different perspectives.
Right.
So I think it is one of those shows that the more people bring to it, the more people that collaborate, the better the whole is. But thank you again for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
And we do hope to hear from you again. So let's talk about Declan and
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too.
So let's talk about Declan and Charlotte and that whole ordeal.
Okay, you guys, I have to tell you, I didn't realize that Declan was actually going to school. I thought he had been kicked out a few episodes ago when she said, "This is the end of you." And so I even wrote down, it's like, why is he wearing the shirt? Why is he still wearing the uniform? I didn't get that.
Well,
but he's still going.
He is there.
Gosh, hello. So, yeah, I didn't realize he was still going to college.
Well, I think, again, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it was in the sense of this. She threw it at him that, hey, listen, you didn't actually get it on your merits because you failed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because we paid people off. Not only that, we're also paying for your college. Or, you know, whatever.
I thought they pulled it out.
Well,
but it's good to see him there.
It is.
Seriously, because he obviously wants to be there.
And it's funny because although he was supporting his brother with the trial and everything and had to go against like what Charlotte's wishes were, he's looking out for her still I mean, I know it sucks, but he had to rat her out a little to get her help.
I completely disagree.
You
I completely
disagree?
I, up until this point, have been absolutely loving Declan, but there's a big difference between ratting on someone because they cheated on a final and ratting on someone because they have illegal prescription medication.
Yeah, but she's not getting kicked out of school. It's a like
only,
1 day suspension.
It's only because she's a Grayson. And at the end of the day, if we were dealing with public school and not private school and she wasn't in fact rich, there's other issues. There's other issues of who gave her the drugs. Did she steal the prescription pad? Did she steal the drugs? There are other actual criminal issues where I think Declan's becoming a little bit too moral high ground, where he basically could have gone and told her mom. Because at the end of the day, if her parents don't care, it doesn't matter how much he rats her out at school. All she's going to do is now have this on a record, and now she has a record for suspension. And obviously her parents know that she's been taking drugs.
Oh, yeah.
They either go directly to them.
She needs like a higher person to come in and do something, because if her parents don't care, she's just going to keep getting away with things.
But here's what you guys are getting away from. It actually did bring her and Victoria closer because of that.
Absolutely. See,
so everything happens for a reason.
That's a brilliant point.
I know
brilliant point.
It's a legal prescription, but she is getting it illegally.
Right,
and I think Declan, not coming from a place of, well, I'm going to go, he's not thinking, I'm going to go talk to her mom. I'm going to go talk to her dad. He's going to do what he knows to do. And they're in school. The drugs are in the locker. I'm going to go tell the dean. And he really does believe that he is helping her.
He does.
And it ends up that he does help her.
And not to make
you know what? It will happen. I really do believe that Charlotte will in the future see that he is helping her. I mean, right now she's a drug addict. She doesn't see that he's helping her, obviously.
Yes.
You know?
But I also the fear for me is that she's going to now go too close with Victoria, and that's a whole different path, and therefore she's...
But you don't want her
But also,
close?
Declan, how is Declan going to be able to go up to Victoria or Conrad and be like, hey, I think your daughter's a drug user? And they're going to be like, wait, I'm paying for your college? You're actually going there?
Wait,
what?
but why are you scared for their relationship?
I'm scared because... we'll get more... Go ahead.
And on top of that, he did change his testimony. He did, like, if things didn't work out the way they worked out for Daniel, his testimony would have been damning for Daniel. So why are they going to listen to this kid? Why are they're just saying, oh, you just want to destroy our daughter's life now. You just want to do this now, you know. So why are they going to listen to him? And he thinks that this is his only way of helping.
But again, though, his moral indignation, so he can lie on the stand to save his brother, but then he's going to rat her out because she's suffering from what's going on with her brother. He can't have it both ways.
Okay, she is self-destructing. I mean, she is snorting oxy and downing, what is that, wild turkey stuff. It's like, she is self-destructing. If that was my girlfriend or my boyfriend, oh my God, I'm thinking if I'm him. If that was my boyfriend and he is snorting oxy, you know what? If I see that happening, I will probably take some measures as well to help. And I probably would think I'm helping.
Yeah, now,
I don't think but you're desperate. You don't know what you need to do.
Let me also ask you, how much of that is jealousy?
Who? Which one's jealous of who?
Declan, jealous of Charlotte because she's also has this relationship with this guy.
But that was just this.
And no, that's last week.
That started last week. She saw. Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely think that.
Okay,
plays
I think
a
that
role.
plays a little bit as well. I do. Yes,
yeah,
I think you're right.
Maybe a little bit, but I also still think that he genuinely cares for her. and
I agree with that too.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to talk to him. She wants nothing to do. So why? He probably thought this was his only way to get through to her for something to do, because she's not talking to him. Every time he goes up to her, she walks away or she says something that is ignorant and not very nice, and or whatever. And he can't talk to the parents because the parents obviously they know and they're not saying anything or doing anything. Not that I'm saying what he did was right. I think he did the only thing that he knew that he could do.
But there's a certain aspect of selfishness because he actually lied. Like, regardless of whether or not she was on drugs and she was drinking.
Okay, lied where? Where
oh,
are
sorry,
we talking
she
about?
lied when, and even
trial.
before that, because at the end of the day, she did in fact see Jack.
Okay, but
and so when she said, she may not have clearly seen the features and that may have been fed to her, but she actually saw someone in a hoodie. And when he went on trial and said that she's lying or she was mistaken because she was, you know, high and or drunk, that's actually not accurate. And he lied on the stand and basically threw her underneath the bus and happened to use the fact that she was drinking and on drugs to basically make himself look more credible.
Okay,
so
but you know,
she has a right never to talk to him.
But he didn't
again.
intentionally do that. Remember, he was talking to the author and explaining to him in trust, in telling him that information.
Yes.
The author is the one who blew it up. So what is he supposed to do? And you have his brother on the line. And if you're going to go up against the Graysons that lie all the time, what are you going to do?
Behind them,
I mean,
to
really,
back
what
them
are you
up,
going to
and
do?
They don't have anything.
You're going to resort to that.
And that's where my fear comes from now. We'll talk about
Yeah, I
Daniel
wanna know
at
about
length,
this.
but in terms of now Charlotte and Victoria getting closer together, that is a scary, scary combination.
You guys really?
Well, that's what I wanted.
them
Why
at
do
the
you think
grave?
it's bad?
I mean, but I think they need that bonding. They've been so detached from each other. I loved seeing them together.
Yeah, but it's such a terrible
It was so
bond.
heartwarming.
No, Charlotte needs somebody to bond with. Who is it going to be?
She needs her mom.
She needs Emily.
She needs her mama and Emily.
Emily is going to take down who she needs to take down to get what she wants.
But
Charlotte, although
She's not gonna take down
semi-shows that
Charlotte.
she cares, if she needs to, though, to get to where she wants other people to be, she would.
I don't think, excuse me, I don't think it's the Diet Pepsi. I don't
She's
think
still half Victoria.
that, yes, but she is also half David Grayson. And
David-
I don't,
David Clark.
That's what I meant. It's David
It's
Clark.
okay.
Where's that dang chart? I don't think that she would take down her own family.
No. And I
At
don't.
all.
I don't at all. And especially when she went and she saw Charlotte and went to her room and walked in and saw all of that was on the bed. And she was taken aback by it. Charlotte doesn't know why, but Emily, of course, knows why. And she was taken aback by it. And she did go and check in on her because it is her sister. And the whole thing that even went down with Aunt Carol, going back to Aunt Carol's place, and Nolan explaining why he did what he did. And she said, if it was me, I would do the same thing for my family. So I don't think anything that she's doing, I think she's doing everything she can to not have Charlotte involved.
I agree.
Really, yeah,
I think she is for now, but guys, you know how the story ends. I told you last week.
Well, or so we're told. Yeah,
So
in
we're
episode
told.
8. Season 8. Season 8. Anyway. Let's talk about Ashley, who I absolutely have hated as a character from day one.
Stand her.
She got hers tonight. Wow, I didn't
What,
see
the
that
Lexus
coming.
or which one?
No, I didn't see the one. She was getting ready to get hired by
Mr. Brooks.
Thank you.
You never give notice
And
until
then-
you sign the contract.
I know. And then the father walks in, Mr. Grayson, and to hear what she had said, and then she didn't get the job, and she was so snide with Victoria when she was putting in her notice or whatever, and was so thankful for everything that Daniel has done for me. I was just like, yeah, she got hers, because then she didn't get the job.
Well, yeah, and I thought that was quite fitting when Brooks is like, well, you know,
He's good. That's a good
knowing what
character.
you've done. I love his character. I'm a fan. I think I have a crush on him too. But my point being is, like, he said, well, you went and checked out people. Well, I went and checked you out. And boom, right
was
there. I know
awesome.
you're the person who did that. And I was like, that's awesome. I
That
wanted to
conniving
clap.
little.
Well, I'm going to ask the lawyer and the business person.
What?
How
What?
smart is it to take a job on a company that you now know is getting investigated?
Seriously.
Like,
she has
By the government.
she has absolutely no choice, and she knows how powerful the Graysons are. At the end of the day, just simply because they're being investigated, what does that really mean? There was probably a moment in time when, even with the whole David Clark situation, even though, he, got convicted, he was still an employee. So the fact of the matter, it didn't hurt them. They rebound all the time. Why? Because they're willing to go to the ends of the earth to protect the Grayson name. So she'd rather side with a winner than have absolutely no options. And right now, think about it. She not only doesn't have a job, but she's invariably been, pushed out of the enclave of the Hamptons. What else is she going to do?
And this is what she wanted from the beginning anyways. She did want to work for the Graysons and not just be an assistant.
Yeah. Well,
so she's getting what she wants.
She's signing a deal with the devil. That's what she's doing.
But she is the devil too.
Yeah,
she,
I agree.
But
I don't think she
go
understands
against,
that.
to send those pictures out in the first place, and then, she admitted to it. That was nice of her.
Yeah.
But to do that in the first place is just like so dishonorable. And she's already identified with the Grayson name anyways by speaking on behalf of them.
Yeah.
So her working for the company isn't going to really affect her as long as she stays out of maybe plotting murders and this and that and this and that. She could do what she has to do working for the company. She'll never be taken down. The company will, if anything.
Well,
and she'll just be out of a job.
I think she's the. I'll wait. I'll save this for predictions.
All right. Well, I think Ashley plays very nice into kind of the point that I really want to make, in the fact that now all these people, as we're kind of discussing it and I'm figuring out more, Conrad's kind of amassing sort of his mini army, and so is Victoria. And now it's kind of like a fight between Victoria, Conrad, and then Emily's, in here as well.
I couldn't tell tonight which one won. I mean, at first, Victoria's plan, I thought she was winning tonight.
Well, here's the Victoria obviously wants. I think she wants Dan more, and Conrad, he likes Dan, but he really loves Charlotte. And Victoria's got Charlotte, and Conrad's got Dan.
And this whole situation, like, she's trying to take down the company and Conrad.
Right.
But so she withdrew her funds, right? Yes. She took out everything, so she wasn't associated. She has everything.
Complete immunity.
Right, immunity. And so, like, pretty much she's trying to ruin him, and he's trying to ruin her. And this relationship between these two characters are killing me.
Well, what did you guys think about him telling Daniel the truth? Do you think what was the reasoning behind that? Do you think?
Thank God, because he wants him to protect Charlotte if anything happens to him.
And I think it's a power play. He knows that there's no way Victoria will tell him the truth. So at the end of the day, by playing the truth, that's his checkmate or his check. And then literally, what does Daniel do? Daniel goes directly to his mom and asks for his mom to tell the truth. And she couldn't. But in her silence, she said everything. And so that literally was his decisive move on whether or not he was going to be a Grayson or this artist who's going to run off to Paris. It was so deliberate.
Do you think there was a strategy to do that before he went on air?
Completely, because at the end of the day, they know as Graysons that in so much as you're trying something in court, you're trying something in the court of public opinion. He knows that Daniel is the legacy of the Graysons. So if Daniel is seen as this amazing person, then that also plays well on this SEC investigation.
While they're while they're investigating. What do you mean? Go ahead.
Because he had gotten a phone call. I don't think the interview was even in his mind, because he had gotten a phone call saying that the feds were coming to come to the house and confiscate everything. And Daniel walked in after that phone call. And that's why he went and he said something. So I don't think...
And he was drunk.
And he was drunk. And I don't think it had anything to do with the interview. I mean, it does help that the interview was the next day.
Because he didn't know about...
So I think he was like, well, here I am. You're going to hear all this stuff. I might as well tell you the truth.
But he's playing it so that Daniel could protect Charlotte and the company.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's his reasoning. Of course. You guys were just like debating whether or not it was for the interview?
Yeah, that's it.
Because at first I thought
I don't think it had anything to do with that.
That's a good strategy, because while they're taking everything out of his office, Daniel is getting ready to go do this interview. And if Daniel can say live on TV that my dad is innocent, da-da-da-da-da.
Well, I think you bring up a good point, but at the same time, I think it does go to show. I think you're underestimating Conrad in that sense, because despite being drunk, despite all this cards stacked to him, he's one of these people that as soon as you show him, like, as they say, like, bling or flash him, whatever, he now can pounce on that opportunity. And I think he's the type of guy, as Sophia was saying, that he would have done that.
At that moment, I don't think it was.
Not
honestly,
at that moment.
Not at that moment.
But he's getting ready to do it now with Ashley.
I agree with you most of the time. Not at that moment.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think that was what was happening, and ironically, you know, we talked at length the last episode how Dan was becoming Victoria. You know, he was on the, as we called it, the bell tower.
Dan doesn't know who he is.
Yes,
Dan doesn't know who he is.
And now he's Conrad. I mean, he goes back into that chair.
Yes, he's getting that feeling. What does it feel like to be powerful, to sit in this big plush leather chair?
Like, what's
But
it feel like to be king?
one thing that
Right.
we just have to touch upon, especially talking about which side Dan falls on, Conrad or Victoria. At the end of the day, he still shot somebody, and technically, let's assume that no one hit him on the head. We know who really shot him and did the extra 2 shots. If he had shot him, left him on the beach, and in fact he died, he's technically a murderer. The only reason he's not technically a murderer is someone else finished the job.
Yes.
Right.
But it's a technicality.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, he still shot him, even though it may have been in self-defense or so forth and so on. Go to Paris, lay low. At the end of the day, you shot someone. If public opinion thinks that you did something wrong, kind of let them, if you really are this honorable guy that you keep showing yourself to be for Emily, go somewhere, lay low, because you're rich and it's not actually going to affect your bottom line.
But you don't think that public
going.
opinion, I mean, you don't think he's doing the right thing by facing the public?
No, not at all. I think
But
that
if
at the
he
end of the-
leaves, it's like, where did he go? He's
No.
running from it.
No, but at the
I
end-
agree, actually.
I mean, that's
with you.
he can't fly to
I
Paris.
do agree with you.
he's free. All charges have been dropped. Lay low.
Right, but that
Because
was
But
their
I think
whole
leaving
game.
and running away is an admission of guilt.
And they
Did I use
want,
omission right? Because
they-
I'm channeling your attorneyisms.
Well, if anything, she's picked the side of Victoria. You're picking the side of Conrad because, you know, early in the episode, he says we have to face this head on, and she's like, no, I don't think we should do it.
No.
So there's your 2 strategies laid out, Victoria and Conrad.
Especially given the fact that they know that he got off based on all of these illegal activities. They're literally just laughing at the face, and they're basically saying that we're the Graysons and we have money and we have power, and no matter what, we'll always end up victorious because we have money.
Right.
Sometimes put your head down.
But
and
they aren't
go
ending up
away.
victorious.
We don't know yet.
They also need to face the public and win the public's opinion because it's the company at stake. And I think, and that's what they're protecting anyway, so they need him to speak on behalf of the situation and clear the waters.
But then
They
he has
can't
to
think
just
if someone,
hide,
if
'cause
someone
they look
comes
even more
forward,
shady.
yes, by coming
You know?
forward, he looks less guilty to me.
Yes.
I completely agree, but then I think you can't keep playing this martyr like, oh, well, poor me, I'm a Grayson and nobody likes me. Nobody likes you because you're acting like a Grayson. You have the money and the privilege to go and do whatever you want.
He had a choice tonight
Exactly.
to not act.
And I mean, let's not even talk, and I have to touch upon this real quick. I mean, when he pushed Emily in the last episode, the fact that he didn't even address that.
Okay,
that
wait.
When he got
What?
drunk,
Yes.
Yeah, he got
just before the police.
Oh, yes,
I
okay.
have to touch upon
Got
that.
it.
The manner in which he pushed her, the fact that he hasn't addressed that with his potential fiance says volumes about his character. All he's concerned about is whether or not she's going to be with him. He's never apologized in any way, shape, or form. That constitutes assault.
Well,
That wasn't a little
he-
tiny push.
He did apologize.
He did mention it,
Yeah,
I thought,
he did.
no?
Yeah, he did apologize.
In his awesome
Yeah.
letter to her.
That she didn't see.
Right, that he never
Yeah.
sent.
And then he did apologize after he did.
Girl, it makes
But-
good TV.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Here's what it sets
That's
up
the
at the
answer
very
to
least
everything.
is Dan, you know, obviously Emily wanted Dan to take tell the truth and all that, and she wanted at the end of the day, I think the whole thing was she wanted to keep Dan out of this. She's wanted to keep Dan out of this for the longest time, and now he's fully committed to the Conrad way, and therefore I turned to all of you guys and I said she's gonna stab him, figuratively, but she now he's it, and now he's the primary target in some sense.
Well, yeah, most definitely. And I also think a lot of things came up tonight where he's questioning because Jack went to him and told him his side of the story and what happened. Like, that's something we can't leave out tonight. Like, Jack
that
went
was
to him
important.
and told him, well, the bloody sweatshirt was mine. How do you think it wound up in Lee Moran's car? How do you think this happened? And his wheels started turning. His father tells him the truth. He asked his mother right before he went on, tell me the truth. And to be honest, I think if Victoria would have told the truth, he probably would have went towards her, because I think he does love his mother oh so dearly, but has been seeing certain things that she has done that has just now kind of made him think twice. And I think he feels his dad told him the truth, and that's what he wanted.
Well, yeah, he's just easily manipulated.
Yeah,
it's a back and forth battle with the
yeah.
mom and the dad, and I think it's going to continue.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to continue anymore, because I think today was kind of the final stance where he says, I'm tired of being a pawn between your terrible marriage. Tell me the truth. And I think today he has decided I'm Conrad, Team Conrad.
Yeah, but then once
Daniel's
Victoria
weak.
could go back and be like, well, the terrorist and this and that was your father, and your father's the bad person because he pitted everybody against
well, I think
David Clark.
Conrad laid that whole thing out.
Yeah.
He laid it all on the table.
Well, yeah, but like I'm sure in favor of what he's doing, but there's always a way to like twist it. There's always a way to manipulate, and that's what they're good at doing. The Graysons are good at manipulating, and
but
I
think like Emily had to do, the episode called Commitment, right? She had to commit to doing this whole revenge. I think Dan's now fully committed. You know what? I'm all about saving the Grayson name, and that's it. And
Screw that. There'll be no show if they're all on one side now, and it's like even the rest of the game.
No, it's not
you know?
even now. Now it's a battle. Now
I think
fight.
it's a true battle. And I think the funny thing is ironically, that's Emily's weakness. Because when Emily's speaking to Nolan, she didn't say that she's going to kill Daniel or take Daniel down. She said, I'm going to marry him, find out who killed my father, and kill him.
Do you
At
think
no
she needs to
point-
marry him
No,
to find out
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Daniel is her weakness, and I can't figure out what it is, but I think
those eyes.
somehow I think it might
And,
be.
and it's also torturing Victoria that they're together at the same time.
I agree, but
A
at
woman
the
she
end
hates.
of the day, though, I think though that there's a connection between even Victoria and Emily. They are very similar. I know that may not
Yes,
be a popular
well, we
thing to
predicted
say.
it's going
but
to end
no,
up the two of
they are-
them.
But
Yeah.
they're the same, and that's even why in earlier episodes she said it was either Jack or Amanda who set this whole thing in play. Why? Because she understands that aspect of revenge, because she knows what they did to this family and to this child. So she's actually spot on, even in so much as Jack was then trying to protect Amanda. She's just unclear of who Amanda Emily really is.
Right.
Right. I would agree with that.
For sure.
Anything else that we sort of didn't touch upon that you guys want to touch upon before we take our break? No.
No, I think so.
Well,
No.
all right. Well, in case we didn't touch upon something, again, tweet us, let us know, and we'll be happy to keep the conversation going. I'll let these guys plug themselves at the end of the show, but without further ado, we'll take a quick break, then we'll come back with our predictions for the next two episodes.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Welcome back, fans. So, Ronnie, take us to predictions, if you will.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right. I'll let Dorinda start because she had a good point that she wanted to bring up.
Okay, with the Ashley and Conrad, I think he's preparing her because he knows what she did, and I think he's going to prepare to make her the fall guy for something. I think it's his own version of revenge towards her because she messed over the family.
His son.
Yeah, messed over
That's
his son.
really interesting.
Yeah,
Nice.
and he's setting her.
Good
it's
one.
all
That's
a setup.
deep.
That's
I
nice.
like
Brilliant.
that. It is. I like that.
That's brilliant.
And what about
Thank
the Declan and Nolan?
Oh, Declan and Nolan. We all loved. There was a little
They
sigh
touched
of
my heart.
happiness, like how they were talking about in the bar how he's not going to be able to go to Collins Prep anymore, and because we don't have the money, and Nolan's like, let me do this. Let me do this for you. And they're like, well, we can. And he's like, no. He goes, you deserve an education like this. I'm going to do it for you. And just the whole, I just love, we talk about this every week, like the relationship that they have and how each week you see it get stronger and stronger, their bond. And I really love the bond that they have with each other.
Yeah.
I think it brings a soft element to this show because there's so much craziness going on that it's nice to see nice things being done.
Kimline, what do you predict for the next 2 episodes?
Well, this one was cray. I think.
What was that? What? It was what?
This cray. That's crazy. I really do think that it's going to come out that Nolan and, I say this every week, I'm going to keep saying it until that actually happens, but I really do feel that they are related in some way. And I think David Clark, I think it's going to come out that David Clark is Nolan's dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nolan.
I agree
David
with
Clark
you.
gets around,
me.
huh?
I was going to say, where's
I've always
moral
thought
high ground now?
That's his dad, which that's obviously how he has that relationship and that bond that's never seems to
And
be
Victoria's
broken.
the mom again.
And then, I don't know about the whole mom thing, Emily's mom, but I do think that Emily and Nolan are definitely related. That's my prediction.
Let's go to you, Gabby.
That was insightful.
God, that's my prediction. Well,
and I take Dorinda's
always,
prediction too.
I agree with both those ladies over there.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I also, like I said before, I think that the mother of Emily is going to come out. Yeah, I think, or even if we don't know the whole story now, I think before this season ends, we might get some more information about who she is.
Yes, that would be great.
You know, and we are going to have more flashbacks, so I think that
I'm going to give mine real quick,
and
and then I'll go to you. I think seeing the grave with Charlotte and Victoria and them knowing that someone was there, I think I don't know where that's headed, but I like it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh my goodness, I think I agree with everybody. I agree with Phil because Victoria's always known that someone is doing something. Because at the end of the day, she didn't put the sweatshirt there. I agree with Dorinda, brilliant. Gabby and Kim Lai. The only difference is I actually think that Nolan could actually be Emily's mom's child. And it just thought about it now.
Wait,
no, okay. So Emily,
sister.
basically, she's like, let's say
Or
Emily's
half.
mom. Yes, actually half, but not through David Clark. That David Clark could have potentially figured out that there was a child out there that was given up for adoption.
Yes,
something.
because
And
the
in
mother
this moment,
is nowhere. Nolan's mother is nowhere to be found.
Nolan's mother is nowhere to be found either. That's the
The
connection.
aunt raised Nolan.
I like that
And I
one.
just right
Yes.
there just thought about it. That's what it is. Basically,
The aunt
Emily's
raised
mom, so the real Amanda, her mom had a child and gave it up for adoption or something, and that's the connection. And David has always known that that child was out there, and that's why he bonded with her.
Oh,
bonded with him.
but they're still brother and
because
sister.
Yes, but through
Yeah.
the mom, not through the dad.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
I like it.
Very cool.
prediction.
I agree
And,
with you 100%. That's
to keep the conversation going,
That one's more interesting.
where can we find all of you guys to keep the conversation going? Anyone?
Twitter.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter, and the Twitter name is @KimLai Yingling, and also check out EatonAsian.com.
That's eatinasian.com.
Yes.
You can follow me at Twitter at LulaCherryFilms.
You can follow me at Twitter, Gabrielle_Loren, and Facebook, Gabrielle Loren with the number 1.
And Sophia?
You can either do Facebook, Sophia Stanley, and that's SOF for fanatic, IA Stanley. I kind of tweet, it's Sophia_Stanley, but I prefer Facebook.
Fair enough. And you can find us here at AfterBuzz. Crank that outro music. I love it. You guys been saying I got the AfterBuzz theme song stuck in my head, so let's get it stuck in your head. Ronnie, crank that as you take us out of here.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
And we're the Revenge Crew. We say buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.